Your thing, Sean.
All right. Super Fantasy Bros podcast. We are back. Week 1 in the books. Totally wrapped up here. It was a pretty crazy week. A lot of big guys went off and a lot of guys disappointed. A lot of injuries. So we're going to get right into it here. We got injuries to go through. We're going to go through a new segment, Calm or Chaos. That one should be fun for sure. And then we're also going to go for some waiver targets and some trade targets. So we got a lot to cover. So we're going to get right into it here. Injury recap. There's a lot of guys that got banged up over the weekend. We'll start with George Kittle of the 49ers, sprained his knee. He's not practicing yet this week, but he expects to be out there Sunday. How big of an impact is this, and who are you guys looking for without Kittle on the Niners?
Not Jordan Reed.
Huge impact. But I mean, who else are you going to look for? He's the only backup tight end, right?
He's going to get hurt first play.
Yeah, so what are they going to do? Go to the punter?
There were no
tight end?
impressive pass catchers for the 49ers last week besides Mostert was like the leading receiver for the 49ers. So Jordan Reed, Ayuk, if he comes back, I think Kittle's like a maniac. I think he's going to be back out there. I don't know if it's smart, but I think he will be back out there week 2.
Yeah,
I don't think there's no way Kittle doesn't play.
Yeah, Kittle's really pushing to play this week. That's what Shanahan said. Shanahan also said Ayuk should be coming back this week. So out of the wide receivers, he's the one I'd want. Mohamed Sanu's also just signed today, so that's someone that could be an interesting pickup. But
he's
been bouncing around the league at this point. I don't know if he's still got it left.
He's got it.
But I like Jordan Reed. If Kittle doesn't play, I think he's going to end up being a target monster, even if, he does obviously have the injury risk. But I think if he's able to get through the game, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be feeding him. Next big injury, first round pick Michael Thomas is out several weeks with a high ankle sprain.
Damn!
This has a huge impact on the Saints' entire offense. So I guess we can go one by one here. Emanuel Sanders is probably the easiest name to target. You guys think he's going to be the best receiver in this group?
I said he's going to have the biggest impact on MT's performance, and look where we are now.
He's not the one who hurt him.
I know. Kamara hurt him. But I think, definitely Sanders, Traquan Smith, I would look out for. Taysom Hill, honestly. Maybe not fantasy.
Why do you love Taysom Hill? He is fantasy irrelevant.
I love
so
to hate him,
bro.
I don't think he's ever been rostered by anybody.
He's probably rostered in like 3% of leagues. Yeah, he's rostered as a quarterback.
Okay.
I don't think you could start him. I don't even know if he has like multiple positions, but
he would be everything.
I actually kind of like Jared Cook a lot. He led them in receiving last week with 80 yards. I think that gives him some upside. But I really think this just helps out Kamara. I think he's going to be the number one pass catcher on this team. Like he was second in targets for the Saints last year. I think he's probably going to be first in targets while Michael Thomas is out. Drew Brees is going to be finding any way to get the ball in his hands.
How about this question? It's not a bad matchup, but Drew Brees, are you feeling good about starting him without Michael Thomas?
Yeah, I think that hurts his value a little bit. I'm still starting him if I have him. I'm not going to free agents. I
don't think there's better.
I don't see much better options than Drew Brees without MT.
Yeah, I still think he's got a lot of pass catchers around him. I still think he's going to be able to find the end zone. So I'm not too worried about Drew Brees.
He's Drew Brees.
He's still got weapons too.
He's Drew Brees.
It's not like he lost his entire offense with Michael Thomas being out a couple weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It was most of their offense, but
not everything.
They still have a lot, and Sanders helps for sure. So I think Sanders is probably the most upside out of wide receivers. Plus, Jared Cook definitely start.
Yeah.
Other than that, next injury here, Marlon Mack is out for the season with a torn Achilles. That really hurts the Colts, but anyone that drafted Jonathan Taylor feels really good right now. I think that helps him out a lot. And they also have Nyheim Hines. Who do you guys like moving forward?
Moving forward, I would have to say Jonathan Taylor because I feel like they're trying to get him to be the feature back. And that was even with Marlon Mack there. So now that he's gone, he's going to just have more of a role just earlier. But I
think for now you could start both.
Yeah, for sure. Because Nyheim Hines is still going to be that pass-catching back.
Yeah. For now, I'd say Taylor's like between the 20s, inside the 20s, or long third downs. It's going to be a Hines-type play.
Yeah, I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. Shockingly, he had 6 catches in week 1. So Phillip Rivers is obviously king of the dump-offs. I think they're both going to be involved in the passing game when they're on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
But Nyheim Hines could be that new Eckler Woodhead role in this offense. Their downs still be really fantasy relevant. Obviously, we saw that in week 1. So I like both moving forward. Jonathan Taylor's obviously the starter, though. Even Frank Reich confirmed that. He said, I want Jonathan Taylor to be the starting running back. So he's going to put up numbers. Any more of the Mac owners, obviously drop him.
There's no IR spot for a season. And
We know Dave kicked them off like 3 a.m. last night.
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't wait to drop him.
Exactly. All right, on to the next injury here. Devonta Parker hurt his hamstring. Only had 4 catches for 47 yards last week. But he did practice in pads today, 3 days later after missing the rest of that game. So that's definitely a promising sign. Do you guys feel confident starting him this week, or is it still too risky?
Go.
All right. I was about to say, just based on the fact that he could easily re-injure that in game, I would be hesitant starting him. But if they're saying like he's fully healthy, ready to go, I mean, obviously he's not going to be fully healthy, but if he's ready to go, I think you put him in there just because of the upside.
That, and I don't think the matchup is too great against the Bills, against the Bills this week. He didn't do much. I mean, Preston Williams, outside of Mike Gesicki, I think he has a good week this week, even though Bills are pretty good against the tight ends. I think he's the safest out of all 3, and he's not even safe to start.
I smell biased.
Me too.
I'm hoping I can get rid of him this week, but
you don't even want him on your team, but you're piping him up.
That's why he was piping him up, so he could
boosting
trade
their
him.
confidence.
All right, we're spending way too much time on the Dolphins here, but Preston
Sorry.
Williams' stock is up if he misses any time. Devonta Parker, if he plays, he's risky for sure. I got him both. I got him both ranked in the 40s, so I'm not really looking to start either of them this week.
Ouchies.
Yeah. Next injury here, James Conner hurt his ankle. It's yet to be determined really how serious this is. He didn't practice today, but a lot of guys didn't practice today. You saw Juju and Deontay Johnson also didn't practice. So a little bit more of a rest day. We'll see how he progresses throughout the week. But if James Conner misses any time, who's the Pittsburgh running back you guys are looking at?
Benny Snell for sure.
Snell, the next Le'Veon Bell.
He was so involved with James Conner, even healthy. Like when James Conner was in the game, I saw Benny Snell in there a lot. They like Benny Snell.
Snell took advantage of the targets or the snaps that he was given. Snell does rhyme with Bell, by the way. I don't know if that's any coincidence. But yeah, I just definitely Snell. Who's the rookie? There's the rookie. Wait, maybe
they got Anthony McFarland.
Oh
Jr.
no. I'm thinking of the Jets. But yeah, Snell is definitely a good guy to start.
Yeah, I think Snell obviously is going to be the guy. I mean, Coach Tomlin came out and said he's going to be the workhorse if Conner misses significant time. Other than that, Jalen Samuels will be mixed in here and there, but Mike Tomlin's always the guy to have one running back. So Benny Snell's the guy to own.
For sure.
Another injury, Chris Godwin. He left late in the last game with like an undisclosed injury. Apparently, at first, they said it wasn't a concussion because he was on Zoom today, but now he's also in the NFL concussion protocol, so he's breaking protocol. I don't know what's going on with Chris Godwin, but it definitely makes me a little bit nervous. He didn't practice today. So how do you guys feel about Tampa Bay, and does this help Mike Evans and Scotty Miller, Gronk, etc.?
No, I think Mike Evans is still also dealing with the hamstring injury.
Exactly.
So Scotty Miller, baby. Scotty Miller, Gronk. And we'll get into the running back later. Rhymes with Skinner, Shornette.
It won't be Fournette.
Leonard Skinner.
Anyways, yeah, I'm nervous about Godwin. I'm also a little bit nervous about Mike Evans, but I know we can't trust a lot of what Bruce Arians says. He did come out and say that he wants Mike Evans to get 10 targets a game, and they only got him 4 targets. They didn't move him around enough.
He was hurt.
So
he was hurt.
He said even while he was playing, he still wanted to get him the ball more. So he wants to get him involved this week. So I feel confident in Mike Evans a little bit more, especially if he's able to go in practice this week. But yeah, Scotty Miller, Tom Brady, and his small slot wide receivers.
Chris Hogan.
2 guys.
Sorry.
I was like,
I didn't even know Chris Hogan was on the Bucks.
No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying
he's just saying he liked.
You might get confused with Scotty Miller.
Nobody, don't touch Scotty too hotty. He's not gonna be good.
They already did.
He's hurting right now. That's why.
Other injuries just to clean up here. Galladay missed practice today. Just keep monitoring him. If he plays, obviously you're going to start him.
Mm-hmm.
Cortland Sutton was limited in practice. He hopefully can go. We'll see. I mean, that AC joint injury is pretty serious. They've been downplaying it a lot, though. But Miles Sanders actually practiced fully today, so he looks like he's going to be back this week. So
What are the
Right.
chances that two of the three guys in this list, I own both of them? It's Galladay and Sutton.
Yeah, that's just bad luck, dude. Sucks to be you.
They'll both be back next week. I talked.
It's all right. I own the other one, so you're not alone, Q. We're in the same boat.
All right, let's get into the new segment, Calm or Chaos. So in this segment,
Boom.
we're gonna be going.
Yeah.
We're gonna be going through all of these guys that pretty much struggled last week, and basically just determining whether or not it's a reason to stay calm or a reason to have chaos, absolutely panic about these guys, something you want to try and trade or someone you want to try and drop. So let's just get right into it here. Let's start off with the most obvious one, Odell Beckham Jr. 3 catches for 22 yards last week. Is this calm or chaos for you guys?
Well, you've been the biggest OBJ hater. So
Yeah, I want to hear you first.
Let's hear it, Sean.
Look, I'm not completely panicking on OBJ. I still think he's going to be involved in this offense, and he had 10 targets this past week. So Baker's pretty much been force feeding him the ball. He kind of wants it to come more naturally now, but I still think you're going to be targeting Odell Beckham Jr. Like if he's on your team, you're going to be throwing him the ball. So I'm not too nervous about it. I still just like Landry more. Obviously, I talked about it throughout the entire preseason. Landry had 5 for 61 on 6 targets. Landry doesn't miss games. Even this week, they're saying he's questionable, but he's going to end up playing. He's pretty much always questionable and ends up playing. So I'm staying calm on OBJ for now. But if you drafted him pretty early, you're probably regretting it a little bit at this point.
I don't think those 10 targets are like something that you can look at and feel good about if you watch the game. I mean, he even said himself that he's force feeding and needs to come natural, like you said. You're definitely more calm if you own Jarv just because of the connection that they have. But like playing the Ravens defense, who was like a top 5 defense, top 6 defense last year, week 1 with like that's your first game of the season. I think you have to stay pretty calm with either. But we'll give it another week, give it tomorrow actually, and then we'll see if OBJ has another performance like Sunday. Then that's where the chaos comes in.
I think it might be time to get a little chaotic on OBJ.
Wow.
I think so too. I think so too.
I do. It was all last year. Week 1 is just going to repeat itself. I mean, they're going to rely heavily on the run game because Baker is unreliable. One of the most unreliable quarterbacks in the league.
He's a year away from being considered a bust, I would say. After this year,
it's close. It's close.
Yeah, I'm definitely nervous. I'm just not panicking just yet. I'm still starting him. I'm still like you have to at this point.
You have to,
especially where you drafted him in most leagues. Like you have to start OBJ. But I'm definitely a little nervous. So I'm teetering there, even as a Jarv lover. So all right, on to the next one here. AJ Brown. He had 5 catches for 39 yards, only 8 PPR fantasy points. Are you guys calm on him, or is this chaos?
T-Gods?
You know I'm staying calm. I'm not going crazy yet. It's fine. We've seen Corey Davis do this before. I'm not worried about it. It's only week 1.
There's like the summary of Corey Davis's career. He'll have that one game maybe in the beginning where he comes out, he's playing like the guy that he was drafted to be, and then the rest of the season he's irrelevant. I think a lot of people have cut him off already because of last year or the year before. So I don't think anyone's too hype on the Corey Davis hype, but AJ Brown's the number 1 guy there.
Yeah. I'm going to stay cool as a cucumber on AJ Brown.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm staying calm too, but I do think Corey Davis has a chance to be more involved this year.
I hope so.
I know it's a run-first offense, but like we saw last year, Devonta Parker blow up after his 4th season. 4th-year breakouts are rare, but you never know. Corey Davis could be a 4th-year breakout here too.
Anybody could break out at any time.
Exactly. So I'm still staying calm on AJ Brown. He had 8 targets. He was definitely involved in the offense, and he's going to keep getting fed.
Q hates my takes. He just shakes his head at me.
All right, another person for calm chaos here is Cooper Kupp. He had 4 catches for 40 yards, 8 fantasy points. Are you guys staying calm on Cooper Kupp, or is this a little bit scary? Is this chaos?
I'm staying calm, but I would definitely temper expectations on him.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be what everybody thinks he was going to be at the beginning of the year. I think Robert Woods really solidifies his number 1 role as a receiver on that team. But, I mean, Cooper Kupp's definitely going to get his for sure. Jared Goff loves him. He's fast. He's a deep threat. I mean, he's good.
Yeah. I mean, preseason ranks, they were definitely close. If you watched Rams games in the past, Cooper Kupp was hurt, so you know the chemistry that Woods and Goff may have. I've always been a Woods guy, even though he screwed me over this week and made me lose.
Sorry.
I think the potential's there for Kupp, but personally, I'm obviously feeling good about Woods. I would panic a little bit about Kupp considering where he's being drafted and what he did after 1 week against a not too great Cowboys defense.
Yeah, I'm staying calm on Cooper Kupp. I mean, he had 5 targets, so he wasn't as involved as he has been. And Tyler Higbee does take away a little bit of the middle of the field there. But Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff have a connection. We've seen it at this point. I think he's still going to be involved. I just don't think he's going to put up top 5 numbers like he did last year. I think he's just going to be more of a wide receiver too, and he'll settle in.
Yeah.
It was also a very run-heavy game last week.
Right. And I also feel like Woods and Kupp's targets are going to seesaw a lot throughout the year.
Yeah, agree with that too. All right, on to the next one here. Carolina Panthers #1 wide receiver DJ Moore had 4 catches for 54 yards. Pretty quiet game, only 9 fantasy points. Is this someone you are freaking out about, or is this calm? You guys staying calm?
I think it's chaos. I think it's chaos.
It's somewhat chaos, but everything's brand new.
Oh.
But ranking DJ Moore 10 for week 1, and then doing that, and then seeing what Robbie Anderson did, it's definitely a little chaos.
We'll talk about Robbie Anderson later.
Laser
focus on Robbie Anderson.
I am definitely staying calm on DJ Moore. He had 9 targets. He was definitely involved in this offense. And Robbie Anderson did have that one big play where he made a nice double move on the corner.
That's his career.
And then the safety missed. So that one big play went for 70 yards. Other than that, he had 5 catches for 30, 40 yards.
Yeah, right. He's known for the one big play.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Robbie Anderson, his stock definitely goes up. He should be owned in every league. We'll talk about him in a little bit again. But DJ Moore, I'm staying calm on. He's going to be involved. He's going to be Teddy Bridgewater's go-to guy throughout the season.
You saw the Temple chemistry, though.
Yeah.
Rolling Robbie.
Yeah, definitely Robbie Anderson's going to be involved. All right, on to the next one here. Keenan Allen. We've seen Keenan Allen start slow in the past. Is this calm or chaos? He only had 4 catches for 37 yards, 7 fantasy points.
I'm going to call chaos.
Yeah, it's a little chaotic over there in
LA.
LA.
It's getting chaotic in LA for sure for everybody on that offense. It's getting scary.
I thought T-Mobile, I was high on T-Mobile. Maybe just because it was week 1. Eckler didn't do well either. But obviously the loss of Phillip Rivers is going to hurt all of them just because Tyrod's not passing the ball as much as Rivers would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm staying calm on Keenan Allen. Shockingly, Mike Williams was more involved than I thought he would be. It was really a long shot for him to play week 1, and then he plays and he's making deep grabs and going up for balls and going down hard. So
that's Mike Williams for you.
That was pretty shocking. And he had 9 targets, but Keenan Allen had 8 targets. He was 100% involved in this offense, and they're going to target him throughout the season. I'm not worried about him. He's still going to get that volume. That
he's too good not to do good.
Exactly.
His head's too bald.
The quarterback's got to get it to him. His volume's definitely going to be there, but the production, I don't know.
We'll see.
They'll figure it out.
We'll see.
They'll figure it out.
I'm staying calm on Keenan Allen for now. On to the next one here, Christian Kirk. So a little bit of a later drafted wide receiver. He had 1 catch for 0 yards.
Oh my God.
So he had 1 fantasy point this
impressive.
past week.
That is impressive.
Pretty much DeAndre Hopkins took up all the volume with 16 targets, 14 catches, 150 yards. So are you guys thinking this is chaos for Christian Kirk, or are you guys staying calm?
I'm staying calm. It was D-Hop's first game. They had to get him involved. If they didn't, they would have been why would we
D-Hop's not getting 16 targets every week.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Way.
No way. But at the same, I was impressed, honestly, with the performance that D-Hop had. But me drafting Kirk, I wasn't expecting him to be in my lineup. Or I wasn't drafting him to be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, or even a first option flex. So I'm staying calm. I know what D-Hop's going to do to all the production in Arizona. But definitely staying calm.
Yeah, 100%. Stay calm on Christian Kirk. I think he actually will bounce back. He had 5 targets, and they were trying to get him the ball deep. So he's still going to have that upside of a boomer bust flex. So.
It was a good 49ers defense also. Though they were hurt, they definitely played a toll on the team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, on to the next one here. A few of you guys in this podcast loved heading into the season that I did not like very much. Rob Gronkowski. He had 2 catches for 11 yards for 3 fantasy points. Is this calm or chaos?
I think it's still calm. Just like the Panthers, it's a brand new team.
You don't sound calm.
You sounded a little worried, kid.
Right now, OJ Howard is looking a little better than Rob Gronkowski, but you can't deny the chemistry that's there, and it's going to week 2 on. They're going to play better or easier defenses. The Saints are a pretty good defense. I'm staying calm on Gronk. If I owned him, I would definitely still plug him in the lineup because I don't know many waiver options that are going to be better than him unless you drafted someone obviously earlier than him. That was just
I would stay calm on Gronk for right now, but I mean, if it comes to like week 4 or 5 and he's still getting the same production, but I mean, you got to give him a little bit of time to get back into football shape, get incorporated into that offense. Like we said, there's a lot of new pieces there, so it's going to be tough for him. But he's Gronk.
It's Gronk.
He can do it, but will he do it?
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's why I think it's a little bit of chaos. I'm just nervous about like his football shape. I mean, he did play more snaps than OJ Howard, and obviously way more than Cameron Brate. So,
that was expected.
So
right,
he played.
He was playing Cameron Brate.
He played 77% of snaps. OJ Howard played 53%, but OJ Howard ended up with more catches and yards. So Tom Brady obviously likes the tight end. I don't know if it was because Gronk couldn't get separation. I didn't watch it that closely, but I am a little bit worried about Gronk for sure. Definitely, I would pick up a tight end in free agents if there is one available, just in case. But I'm still starting him for now.
It might not even be Gronk personally, more just that there's so many more weapons in Tampa Bay than there were in New England that he doesn't have to look at Gronk for a first or second option.
Yeah,
maybe even third.
That's a good point, Q.
Yeah. And this week, if Godwin ends up sitting out, Gronk's stock goes up a little bit too. So, all right, the next one here. We'll get into some running backs. Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon had 19 carries for 69 yards and only 1 catch for 2 yards.
69.
So Joe Mixon really only had like 7 or 8 fantasy points. Pretty disappointing first week. Is this calm or chaos on Joe Mixon?
If you're a Joe Mixon fan, I think it's time to start admitting that he sucks.
Wow.
He definitely doesn't. He doesn't suck.
He's not. He should not have been drafted as high as he was drafted in many drafts.
He doesn't suck, but he definitely does have a couple more of these weeks this season because he's always. I don't know. I feel like he's always had like 5-6 down weeks in a year, and I mean that's just expected. The Bengals aren't the best football team. They play from behind a lot, so I think they're going to be throwing the ball.
Yeah, so we saw Mixon very involved in the passing game last year, and in the first game he only has 1 catch for 2 yards. So that's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is Joe Burrow. Is he going to be veteran mindset enough to check the ball down when he has to? Because it seemed like he wanted to run a lot last week. I think he had like 8 carries for 40 yards or something.
And a tutty.
Yeah, so obviously that long touchdown run too, but it seemed like he would try and scramble when he got in pressure. I think as the season goes on, I think Mixon's targets go up, his catches go up. I'm staying 100% calm. Volume is king in fantasy, and Joe Mixon is going to get volume all season long. He really has no competition. He's still going to be a top 10 running back for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I respect it.
I believe it.
Right, on to the next one here. Nick Chubb. 10 carries for 60 yards, 1 catch for 6 yards, 7 fantasy points. Was this calm or chaos on Nick Chubb?
I tried to tell you.
That's got to be chaos.
I tried to tell him.
This whole team is full of chaos.
That's chaos.
I tried to tell him, man.
The thing that really stuck out to me was Kareem Hunt had more carries than Nick Chubb.
Right.
13 carries for 72, and he was a little bit more efficient. He also obviously had 6 targets, 4 catches. So Kareem's going to be the pass down back, and he had more carries.
Yeah, that
scares me a little bit.
That's chaos if I've ever seen it.
The only thing that, like, Nick Chubb had a pretty good game against the Ravens last year, so I was expecting him to actually have a decent game. We'll see how he does this week against the Bengals, who pretty much gave up like 140 rushing yards last week. I think Nick Chubb, if he struggles again this week, it becomes super chaos. But right now, I'm definitely nervous about Nick Chubb.
For sure.
I think like at the beginning when you drafted Chubb, you were expecting him to be the guy. And now I'd say that if you were to ask who would you rather have, it could be like a 50-50 split, which is not what you're expecting. If you drafting Hunt, you're definitely feeling good at the price you probably paid for him later. He's doing more than the guy who could have went top 10 in your league. But yeah, this is chaos all around. Cleveland chaos.
Yeah, Cleveland chaos. That team looked like a dumpster fire against the Ravens.
Like that.
We'll see how they do this Thursday.
Baker butt cheeks.
Booty Baker.
All right, on to the next player here. We got Antonio Gibson, rookie running back for Washington. People started his draft stock flew up towards the beginning of the season. So he had 9 carries for 36 yards, 2 catches for 8 yards. But Peyton Barber ended up with the 2 touchdowns. So is this calm or chaos on Antonio Gibson?
I'm saying calm on him. It was his first game in the NFL. I mean, he's a rookie. What do you expect? He's not a Kareem Hunt. He's not a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But, I mean, you got to give him time to get incorporated, actually get, know the offense. You got to give the coach time to trust him. It takes a lot.
Though the Eagles blew that game, they have a solid run D.
We're not going to talk about that, kid.
I had him ranked 29th, so I wasn't expecting that much out of him. But I definitely would have expected him to be more involved in the passing game because at one point they were down 17-0. But I don't see Payne Barber being too relevant in fantasy. I can't really remember when those touchdowns were because once they started coming back, I was just like, I just looked at the score more than the actual game. But yeah, I Payne Barber not worth a pickup in waivers because I'm sure he's there. I would just stay calm with Gibson.
Yeah, I'm staying calm on Gibson too. Obviously showed more upside. He had 4 yards per carry against the Eagles' run defense, and Peyton Barber had 1.7 yards per carry on 17 carries. So he was definitely the guy they were feeding the ball, but he did not show that he could handle that workload. So Antonio Gibson did not run the ball a lot in college, so they're probably easing him into that and getting him used to it. So definitely has some upside moving forward, especially if he can get more involved with the passing.
He's now over 40 carries in his whole life. He's only had 33 in college, and now he had 9 in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. So
I may have had more carries than him in middle school.
Yeah, so he's definitely a receiver, and I think they tried to get him involved, and I think he's going to get more involved as the season goes on. Another one here, Le'Veon Bell. We didn't talk about him with the injuries, so he did leave late in the second quarter with an injury and ended up on IR with a hamstring injury that he told us not to worry about. So never trust Le'Veon Bell on Twitter. He'll tell you whatever you want to hear, and he's lying most of the time. So
he said he's going to come back week 7 in Pittsburgh and didn't play a game.
So, yeah, exactly. Le'Veon Bell, don't trust what he says on Twitter. Anyways, 6 carries for 14 yards, 2 catches for 32 yards through pretty much the first half of the game. Is this calm or chaos on Le'Veon Bell, even when he comes back?
Oh, this is chaos.
This is crazy.
They might be just as bad as the Browns with this chaos stuff. I think if you drafted him to be your RB2 with RB1 upside, because we definitely hyped him up with the preseason shows. But I think you're keeping him on your team for when he comes back. I don't think he's gonna week 5. I think he's eligible to come back, but I think maybe give him another week. If he's traded, you're keeping him because he could be traded to a contender where he'd have more success there because he's not going to do a thing in New York even when he comes back.
Yeah. Last season he never had a game over 100 rushing yards.
And that's Le'Veon Bell. He should just go back to Pittsburgh where they need a running back if Connor's out for a little.
Yeah, I think I'd still definitely hold on to him. He still has volume. It's definitely chaos. I'm nervous just about the Jets as a whole. They look like a dumpster fire.
Oh, man.
But
I feel like he's getting to the point where he's one of those guys that people hold on to him just for a name.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he still had 8 touches at halftime, which was on pace for 16 for the game if he played out the whole thing. So
at least
I'm definitely nervous about his production, but if he's going to get touches, he'll definitely be at least worth a bench spot.
Yeah. If not, you can always just go to rapping.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, on to the next one here. Mark Ingram, Baltimore Ravens running back, had 10 carries for 29 yards, 0 touchdowns. Is this calm or chaos on Mark Ingram?
I think it's calm because, you were expecting J.K. Dobbins to cut into his workload. It was more like a 50-50 split, 29 to 22 carries. Those touchdowns, I don't think they were too long distance. So it's not like Dobbins broke off a 50-yard run and now he's the guy. But I guess goal line carries, you may have expected it to be Ingram. Now it may not be. So I'm staying calm on both. But Dobbins, you know that his workload is going to improve after his great week 1 performance.
Piggybacking off of what Q said, I think that the fact that J.K. Dobbins did get the goal line carries, I think it's a little chaotic for Mark Ingram because they always looked for Mark Ingram in the red zone last year. And if J.K. Dobbins is taking them touches away, Mark Ingram's value definitely goes way down.
Yeah, Mark Ingram, you were really banking on touchdowns. He didn't get any. J.K. Dobbins had 9 carries for 22 yards, so he really wasn't efficient either. He didn't run away with the job, but he ended up punching 2 touchdowns in. So if Mark Ingram doesn't get more involved on the goal line, it's definitely going to become chaos. But I'm staying a little bit calm for now. Definitely keeping him on my bench, just not starting.
At least one rookie running back knows how to score a touchdown.
Yeah,
Deandre Swift.
He did score, though.
He did score. Idiot.
Oh, I mean, win a game. I guess the Ravens have to win a game.
Stop.
All right, on to the last one here for Calmer Chaos. This is Q's boyfriend, Leonard Fournette. He had 5 carries for 5 yards and 1 catch for 14 yards on 9 snaps. So he barely even entered the game. Is this calm or chaos on Leonard Fournette?
He was almost better than Saquon.
That's calm. I'm staying calm on him.
I'm riding this Fournette train till the wheels fall off. Like, Fournette has the skill. I think he's personally better than Ronald Jones. You saw Ronald Jones; he was doing great running the ball. He looked like he was running with a reason. But I think as the weeks go on and this team figures out themselves, because I don't even think they know what they're doing. When they play the easier opponents, maybe that'll be just like a practice for them. But I think Leonard Fournette will eventually take over this backfield. And I'm not being biased here. I just love Fournette. I don't play some lovely music.
I never heard of this love of Fournette until he went to the Bucs.
I knew his career was being wasted in Jacksonville. Now he's in a place where he's going to sprout into a great. He's going to finish where he started in the preseason ranks, which is top 15.
Well, I don't think he's going to finish top 15. I'm a little bit chaotic on this one. I am feeling nervous about Leonard Fournette. 9 snaps after Bruce Arians touted that he picked everything up quickly and he was going to be involved.
Coach Cap.
It was week 1.
He said he picked everything up quickly. He's going to be involved, and he played 9 snaps and got 5 yards on 5 carries.
I mean, 9 snaps is involved. He did say Ronald Jones was going to be the guy.
Yeah, so. he did say a lot of things.
They probably went to the huddle.
He would be involved in a lot. So
they did have four plays in there.
Shady played 25 snaps.
Okay. Coaches say the darnest things.
Yeah, they probably put Fournette in the huddle and was like, Fournette, run right, run left, and the lineman just had to pick that up because he doesn't know the plays like that.
That's why I'm nervous about it.
That is not how an NFL huddle goes.
I think it's going to take at least a few weeks for Fournette to really get situated. But I like Ronald Jones. I mean, he showed that he could really carry the load. And I think moving forward, Tom Brady might end up trusting him. And if Tom Brady trusts him, that's the guy who's going to start.
I think that's just how I hoped if I were to go to the NFL, they would just tell me to run straight, do like a diagonal pattern into the
Q. When you said that, I thought about people drawing plays on their chest for their teammates.
They do it on the football.
All right.
Okay, Brady.
Anyways. That wraps it up for Calmer Chaos.
Back on topic.
Moving on to some more running backfields. So there are a couple of crowded backfields right now in the NFL. So let's go through a couple of them here. We'll start with the Chargers. We did mention Eckler a little bit earlier. So Eckler, Josh Kelly, and Justin Jackson are all there. Justin Jackson got banged up, unfortunately, but he'll probably be back moving forward. Are you guys panicking about Eckler, or are you guys still feeling confident starting him moving forward?
You have to start him.
It's a little bit of a panic. I mean, you're starting them, but do you feel comfortable starting them?
Yeah.
After week 1, you're not.
I don't feel comfortable with where I would have drafted him as a first-round pick. I'm definitely a little bit nervous. He did play 50 snaps. Josh Kelly only played 18 snaps, but Austin Eckler was able to have 84 yards on 19 carries and only had 1 catch for 3 yards. So that's the thing
that's the scary part.
That's the thing that really scares me.
That's where Eckler made his money, was catching the ball out of the backfield. And if he's only getting 1 catch a game.
But you can't think like the Chargers are like, okay, let's take away our number 1 paid running back's best ability, which is pass catching. So it has to eventually come.
Yeah, I think he's going to be involved moving forward. But the thing that scares me is that Philip Rivers was king dump off. So whenever Philip Rivers got into trouble, he would just throw it to Eckler, throw it to Danny Woodhead, whoever he had back there. Tyrod Taylor, when he gets in trouble, he immediately runs. He goes mobile. So he's not looking to throw it to his running back. He's looking to scramble and make a play himself.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that scares me about Eckler is I don't know if he's going to get as many catches as he did last season. I think they're obviously going to have some design plays to get him open in space because he's elite when he's open in space. They'll definitely get him involved, but Josh Kelly is definitely someone I like. I mean, on only 18 snaps, they gave him 12 carries for 60 yards, 5 yards a carry, and scored the touchdown on a nice breakout run.
That is good.
If Josh Kelly ends up getting more involved in the run game, I get really nervous about Eckler for sure.
I will say that this last name brings me so much joy because I wish we were talking about Fat Rob Kelly. Because
he loves trash running backs.
Drop him like a bad habit.
He brought me so much success back in 2016.
No, he didn't.
In 16,
he brought you imaginary success.
Look up his stats.
He was awful.
This guy must be related to him with how well he's performing.
Yo.
How many people do you know the last name Kelly was?
They're not related, I'm pretty sure.
Fact check that. But I think Kelly definitely showed that he's relevant in the Chargers backfield, but I still wouldn't be worried with Eckler's performance of week 1. He should be picking it up week 2 on.
Yeah. They got to get him involved. If they don't get him involved, that'll be the biggest mistake they ever make.
Yeah, agreed. On to the next backfield here, the Los Angeles Rams. We knew this one was going to be a carousel, and pretty much the guy we all least expected ended up taking the backfield in week 1, Malcolm Brown. He scored 2 touchdowns on 44 snaps. Cam Akers was also involved, 24 snaps. He didn't perform as well. I think he averaged like 2.8 yards per carry. And Darrell Henderson really was not involved much. 5 snaps, 3 carries for 6 yards. I think he was still a little bit banged up, so they kind of held back on him. Which guy do you think ends up really taking away this backfield? Is Malcolm Brown for real?
It's hard to tell right now after week 1.
Malcolm Brown has the most he knows the most about this offense. I mean, he's been in. I don't know about Darrell Henderson, or that's his name, right?
He was there last year, but he was hurt for a lot of the season.
Yeah, so Malcolm Brown definitely the most. I think Henderson's the most irrelevant. Malcolm Brown has the most potential. Akers, I'm not giving up on. I still don't trust any of them, considering that Malcolm Brown is the best out of the 3. There's a rookie that could be the star there. But young, handsome Sean McVay going with the hot hand. I don't like it, but I'm gonna. If you have Malcolm Brown this week, I'm probably starting him. No. Actually, no. I'm not starting any of them this week because of the Eagles' defense. They're great run D.
They are a pretty good run defense, but I still think Malcolm Brown's going to get some volume.
Definitely.
But more than Akers?
I still think Malcolm Brown's going to be their guy for now. Obviously, he has the most experience on this team, like you said, and Jared Goff has a pretty good connection with him at this point, and he's good in pass blocking. So I think he's going to be their guy for now. I think Cam Akers mixes in, and by like week 4 or 5, he might end up being the guy. But
I think this is the week. This is the week, just like before week 1. This week will screw them up again because I don't think there's going to be one guy that does all the work or has the best performance. Maybe it'll be like a 50-50-50 thing. Yeah. So
that's why nobody likes
any 50-50-50.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like doing the math.
33, 33, 33.
50-50-50.
Quick maths.
Point something.
0.3.
Anyways.
Easy.
No, not 0.3.
33%.
0.3333333.
Anyways. Henderson, I do think he will be involved moving forward. I think it was only because he was hurt. He didn't get that many snaps. So I think he might end up actually being involved too and become more the pass catching back in this backfield. He had a lot of preseason hype last year, and he was playing well in training camp until he got that hamstring injury. So don't sleep on him just yet. If you have him on your bench, if you have to drop him, I would feel free to drop him, but I think I would hold on to him for a couple more weeks. All right, on to the next backfield here. Detroit Lions. This was kind of a mixed bag, but the best performer was the old reliable. Adrian Peterson had 14 carries for 93 yards and also had a catch out of the backfield. Do you guys feel good about Adrian Peterson, or do you think this is still Swift or Carry-On's backfield moving forward?
I don't want to sound biased.
Matt has Deandre Swift on his fantasy team.
AP isn't going to be like the leader of that backfield all year. There's no chance.
He would have been the starter in Washington. And so he has the skill.
He looked pretty good.
He did look good. He was very impressive.
93 yards and 14 carries is super
That's
impressive.
good.
I mean, Green Bay doesn't have the best run defense.
Only one running back had over 100 yards. And Adrian Peterson had, I think, the best yards per carry, one of the best yards per carry for week 1.
I think it was over 4 yards.
It was against the Packers.
He played the Bears.
Sorry.
Bears have a pretty decent run defense. It's not
Wrong
good.
week.
It's no Khalil Mack Bears defense.
Well, Khalil Mack is there. What are you talking about? Anyways.
I was the highest on Kerryon out of these 3, but now Kerryon might be my least favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
And AP surprisingly my favorite. I thought Swift would be good, but clearly, I mean, he is a rookie, so you
He
can't
choked.
expect that.
He had a drop.
He
It's all right.
choked.
DeAndre Whift.
DeAndre Swift.
But
Swift is still going to be my guy moving forward. He played the most snaps out of all of them, 34 snaps. AP had 24, and Kerryon had 20. They obviously didn't give him the ball much running, but he's still going to be the receiving back on a team that's going to be down more often than not. They were up most of this game until the fourth quarter when Mitch Trubisky pulled something out of his ass and became a good quarterback.
I think that's the first time Sean's ever cursed.
Nah. Anyways, DeAndre Swift, I still think he's going to be the guy they want to get the ball. AP is the second guy in line for me, and Kerryon seems like the odd man out at this point.
honestly,
Makes me
I
nervous
feel
if I
I
have
think
him.
That sucks.
if you have AP, you feel the safest starting him over Swift right now.
Yeah, I would feel safer starting him, but I think long term I want Swift.
AP just like Gore.
All right, and before we get into our waiver wire targets, we're going to get into today's sponsor, Thrive Fantasy app for iOS and Android. The Thrive Fantasy app is a daily fantasy sports app for player props and daily fantasy sports. So on Sunday, when you're looking to build a fantasy lineup here, if you download the Thrive Fantasy app and use our promo code SUPERFB, that is SUPERFB, and you deposit $20 or more, you will receive an instant $20 bonus. So go check out this app, download it today, use our code SUPERFB, and win some money.
Free money, baby. Free money.
Free money. Can't pass it up.
Their money is lost money.
All right, and we're going to get into the waiver wire
Money
targets.
lost.
There's a lot of them since it's pretty much week 1, and there's a lot of guys that were still left out there in free agents. So we're going to break it down by position. We'll start at quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger is not owned in 100% of leagues. He's only owned in 65% of leagues. He had 229 yards and 3 touchdowns. Is this someone you guys really want on your fantasy team?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Exactly.
As a backup, at
Especially with
least.
James Conner down.
Yes.
But
Ben
you saw
Roethlisberger's going to be slinging the ball.
No,
He was
Snell
hurt.
did good.
he was hurt during the game. He was wearing a whole coat sleeve.
He wasn't hurt.
He was hurt.
He was just
wasn't
protecting
hurt.
his
Yeah.
injury. He did say he felt like he got hit by a train wreck
That's not
day
true.
after. And then the next day he said, I feel like it was just a car accident. And then he
Okay.
said, tomorrow I'm hoping I feel like I fell off a bike. So
Off a cliff.
Big Ben's got some jokes.
Any analogies.
I think it's a year off from football. Obviously, you're going to feel it a lot. So he's definitely feeling it a little bit, but I think he's going to be fine moving forward. Definitely someone I'm targeting.
I haven't played a down of football, and I think if I got hit, it'd feel like if I just got hit with a pebble.
Q, you would get
Sean,
destroyed.
ignore it. Sean, ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore
can't.
it.
I can't.
A down of professional football, at least.
Q, you would get absolutely destroyed. You'd probably break
When you
your
kick him
bones.
from the Zoom
You
call.
would Q. You would cry.
Anyways, moving on to the next quarterback target here, Ryan Tannehill, 249 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first game. He's only owned in 33% of leagues. Maybe not a long-term solution, but this week against Jacksonville, if your quarterback has a tough matchup, he's someone to target for sure.
Yeah.
Who would you start him over that might be like a top 13 guy? I mean, you may have to look at the matchups, but
I have him ranked 17, so I'm not super high on him. But if you were to start him over someone like Carson Wentz or someone
Yeah.
like Matt Stafford,
Matt Stafford, for
I wouldn't
sure.
feel too crazy about it. Like I wouldn't call you crazy. I would think like you're just playing the matchups.
Yeah.
Tannehill's got a good matchup. So Carson Wentz after a bad week 1, I wouldn't be shocked if you ended up starting him over him.
Yep. And especially going against Jalen Ramsey in that secondary.
Yeah, exactly. They are
Yeah.
traveling from west to east though, so that always makes it a difficult.
hello, Booby Sanders.
It makes it difficult for sure.
Hey, booby.
A couple other guys just keep on your radar. Obviously owned in less leagues. Gardner Minshew, 173 yards on 19 of 20 passing,
Monster.
96% accuracy, crazy, and 3 touchdowns.
Bro.
That man had a perfect QBR.
His wide receivers actually look pretty good. DJ Chark, the rookie Laviska Shenault, as well as Keelan Cole. They all had a touchdown in that game. He spread the ball around a lot. Gardner Minshew, even without Fournette, they're trying to make this team lose. He's still going to push him to win. Minshew mania. Definitely someone to keep on your radar.
If we were doing news or noise or cap or no cap for this, it would be so hard to pick just because Colts defense, you expected to be good this game. But at the same time, Jags, they don't have like a solid first running back. So they're going to be throwing the ball. So these performances could be familiar or something that's going to happen more often than not. Am I going to start him ever and feel good about it? I'm not too sure unless my quarterback's on a bye and he might be the best available.
Yeah, there's someone to keep an eye on. If he continues the success, obviously, it's someone you would want to pick up. He showed flashes of it last year when he was given the starting job. And the next one here, Mitch Trubisky. He's only owned in 6% of leagues. I'm not really reaching to grab him
Could be less than that.
But you should keep him on your radar. I mean, in the fourth quarter, he looked like a different quarterback.
Don't keep him on your radar.
242 yards. And 2 years ago, he was a viable fantasy starter. So just last season, he really fell apart. We'll see how he looks moving forward. I'm definitely nervous about him. But if you're desperate for a quarterback in a 2 QB league, he's looking pretty good right now.
He definitely does have some weapons.
Exactly.
I mean, unless Robinson sits.
Now, Robinson actually had a good conversation today with ownership. So it looks like he's going to be happy moving forward. Fingers crossed.
Amy, yes.
Robinson owner.
Handshake.
And if Anthony Miller stays healthy all year, I think he'll be all right.
He does have the
Jimmy Graham too.
He does have the Lions number. The Lions have only won once since Mitch has been drafted, like when they play each other. So I think just it could be a Lions thing. It could maybe Mitch is back and he sees big bad Foles behind him waiting to take the job. So he's play to the Nines, but we'll see.
I didn't think about that. He definitely does have something to play for now.
Yeah. All right, on to running backs here. Malcolm Brown, Nyheim Hines, and Adrian Peterson are still available in a lot of leagues at this point. If you're looking to pick one of them up, how would you rank those three guys? And which order you would pick them up?
That's tough.
I did a poll today. It was only between Hines and Malcolm Brown, but it seemed like everybody was on the Malcolm Brown train. I was a little surprised by that. I personally would put Hines above Brown just because he has more to offer and a quarterback who loves throwing to his running backs.
Yep.
So I think I would go Hines, Brown, AP. I don't really see that AP going anything higher than 2 or reaching 2 just because of what the other two are offering. So yeah, Hines, Brown, AP.
Yep.
I definitely agree with you, but they're all scary because they all have rookies chasing the starting job. And that's scary.
They literally all do. That's
every single one of them. That's insane.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I would go the same order. Hines, Brown, AP. All three of them should definitely be owned in leagues right now. And AP is owned in a very small amount of leagues. So if AP's out there, pick them up. Worth a flyer. A couple other guys just to keep your eye on. Frank Gore, he's starting Sunday. Josh Adams is also going to be involved. We saw him get a couple carries. Former
for the Eagles,
former Eagles running back that had pretty good games in the past. So both of them will be interesting. But the Jets, obviously, like I said, are a dumpster fire. So they're pretty much like if you're in a deeper league, that's I would pick them up.
Deeper league, but keep an eye on P. Ryan. I think the rookie. He definitely has potential if Le'Veon comes back and isn't playing or is traded, obviously, and like Gore, I don't think they expect him for how much of the future is he expected to play. So P. Ryan could see some play if he comes back. I think he's not on the IR, but he's still
injured. He's a little banged up.
Yeah. So when he comes
but
back,
if he is healthy, definitely worth.
Keep an eye on him.
Another guys that are still not owned at 100% of leagues really need to be picked up. Chase Edmonds, Josh Kelly, Alexander Madison, all the handcuffs for these bigger running backs, Tony Pollard, Darrell Williams, those guys need to be owned in pretty much every league. As you can see, like if an injury happens to somebody, those are going to be the next guys up. And those are the most prominent backfields in football. So those guys have to be picked up. I'm seeing too many of them on free agents at this point. Pick them up. On to wide receivers.
Get them while they're hot.
Receivers here. Couple guys at the top of the list that are owned in a decent amount of leagues, Robbie Anderson and Darius Slayton. Which one would you guys rather own? But I think both should be owned in 100% of leagues moving forward.
Q's face says it all.
That's a good question.
I'm taking Darius Slayton.
Me too.
I'm taking Robbie Anderson personally.
Bias.
Obviously bias intended. Temple grad, Temple wide receiver. Watched him throughout my undergrad. So Robbie Anderson is a favorite of mine and obviously big play guy. Gets to reunite with his head coach. I think he's going to be involved throughout this season for sure. I think he should be owned in 100% of leagues. He's definitely a flex option moving forward. And we saw Darius Slayton explode, so I think both need to be owned in 100% of leagues. Both are flex options.
For sure.
The next guy on the list here, Russell Gage. He had 20 points in week 1, 9 catches. I don't think he's going to have 9 catches moving forward, but he's only owned in 14% of leagues. You guys picking him up?
I mean, you can add him.
Yeah,
I'm not starting him though.
I don't think there'll be another game where they all 3 Falcons receivers have 100 yards.
That was insane.
And I don't think if there were to be 2, I still don't think he would be one of the 2 to get it.
No, for sure.
Based off talent.
Yeah, I definitely think he needs to be owned though. We saw with Calvin Ridley out last year from week 12 on. He had 32 catches, 289 yards, and a touchdown in like 5 weeks, roughly 10 points a game. He's pretty much a PPR machine out of the slot. He might end up securing that Austin Hooper role if Hayden Hurst doesn't end up being more involved in the offense. He only had 3 catches for 38 yards last week. So Russell Gage is someone you have to pick up moving forward.
If I was a Russell Gage owner right now, I would see what I could get for him. And if it's worth it, I would do it.
I don't think you're getting anything that you're looking for.
But I mean,
if wide receiver that needs to be owned though.
If it's something better than what he is, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I feel you there. Sammy Watkins, not owned in 100% of leagues, owned in like 64%. He had 21 points. I think he's worth a flyer. Any piece of that Chiefs offense, Mecole Hardman was not involved. So if Sammy Watkins stays involved, he's someone to pick up.
We saw what he did week 1 last year. And I hate to bring it up on live internet, but
live internet.
Q's a boomer.
He's a boomer.
Boomer Q.
You saw a guy. There's a guy in our league that not drafted, but
he did draft him.
He drafted Watkins, dropped him for Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts,
the third string. Third string. Isn't he third string?
Third string.
He's third string.
For what?
Wow.
For leverage. But
for leverage.
He did redrop Jalen Hurts and somehow picked up Sammy Watkins again. I don't think that Sammy Watkins. I mean, I think he'll repeat what he did last year, but at the same time, you have to have some hope because of the Chiefs' offense, and he's bound to do something.
Yeah, I'll talk
Sammy
about
Watkins is a week 1 boom, a rest of the season bust.
Yeah, I'll talk about him in a little bit again as well. Packers wide receivers, obviously the Packers went crazy because Aaron Rodgers went bonkers on Sunday.
Go crazy.
Marquez, Valdez-Scantling, and Allen Lazard both caught a touchdown. Both had 4 catches, and both are owned in less than 50% of leagues. Pass catcher, if any week looks like the week was this week, both of them should be owned because they're going to put up numbers. Who do you guys prefer, MVS or Lazard?
Right now, it's like 50-50 with them. I'm waiting another week to see maybe if one does better than the other. Just as all of them as a whole. Like, same thing with Rodgers. Do I want to rank him top 10? Maybe I'll wait another week to see if he actually does what he did before. But I guess I'll take MVS. Maybe because I like his name more. But
yeah, I'm taking the Lizard personally. Aaron Rodgers has said he likes him. MVS obviously more of a big play guy. I think Lazard might be involved every week moving forward. Just finally be that number 2 wide receiver that the Packers have been looking for. But we'll see.
Desperately.
Next guy here, Paris Campbell, my guy, pretty much my ride or die this year. 6 catches for 71 yards, week 1, 13 fantasy points. He's got to be owned in every league. Philip Rivers is going to be down in games, as we saw even against the Jaguars. That offense is going to be throwing a ton, 363 yards in week 1. He's going to be throwing for 300 plus yards again later this year. So he's only owned to 40% of leagues. Pick him up if he's a free agent, no doubt.
Honestly, if Galladay or Sutton are out this week for me, I might feel confident starting Campbell over Sterling Shepard or obviously I think Kirk. So I think Campbell week performance is something that what's going to come for him. It's good.
Yeah, definitely someone to keep an eye on. And we talked about him earlier, Scotty Miller. He's only owned to 12% of leagues. Pick him up if you're desperate for a wide receiver. If Godwin ends up sitting out, he's going to have some value. And you know how Tom Brady loves the slot wide receivers. All right, on the last position here, tight ends. Dallas Goedert went crazy. Do you think Dallas Goedert can keep up this momentum? I think he's someone you have to pick up right now.
I think him and Ertz are both top 10 tight ends for the rest of the year.
They complement each other so well.
Q, I would agree with that. I'm still a little bit nervous on Goddard. I still think Ertz is going to get more involved, and we've seen games where Goddard blew up even last year and then disappeared other games. So I think Goddard's going to be involved, especially with Alshon out. Goddard's still going to stay involved, but he's the number one tight end I'm looking for. And then Jonnu Smith, only owned in 22% of leagues, had a really good game last on Monday here. And I think Jonnu Smith moving forward is going to be an integral part of that Titans offense. He showed flashes last year, second-year breakout.
New Delaney?
Could be.
We'll see.
And next up, Jordan Reed. Only if George Kittle doesn't play. He's owned in 0.6% of leagues.
Don't
Pick
do
him
it.
up if you're desperate.
I'm looking for a tight end.
He'll get hurt next game.
He's going to get hurt.
He is going to get hurt.
Jordan
if
Reed.
he's healthy right now, which he's been the healthiest of his career, we've heard it 100 times. But he is healthy. If he's on the field in an offense where Garoppolo is going to be throwing, I like him. All right. Next option, Logan Thomas against the Eagles had a pretty big game. Scored a touchdown for the football team, not the Redskins.
Whoa, dude, you can't say that.
Can't say that, Sean.
Say that.
That's a party foul.
We're
banned.
Mute him.
Wow. Anyways, all right. Football team. I don't know if he's going to be relevant moving forward, but worth a flyer. Noah Fant, whatever you want to call him. He's owned in 84% of leagues. Needs to be 100%.
Why isn't it 100? Why isn't it 100?
He showed his potential. Pick up Noah Fant.
It's not available. 12 point
against the good Titans defense.
Same with TJ Hawkinson, especially with Galladay out. He needs to be owned in pretty much every league. He's only owned in 70% right now. And last tight ends to be considering, Greg Olsen, Jimmy Graham. You guys think they still have some juice left in the tank?
I honestly might pick up Jimmy Graham after this podcast.
Jimmy Grandpa.
He has a good matchup this week against the Giants.
Only thing that makes me nervous about Jimmy Grandpa is the other tight end in Chicago, Cole Kmet.
Jimmy Grandpa.
Cole Kmet, rookie tight end. He's pretty much shown pretty big flashes in camp. Wasn't involved much in week 1, but I think later in the season could just deplete Jimmy Graham's value. We've seen Jimmy Graham have good weeks and disappear completely. I like Greg Olsen, though. I think Russell Wilson throws to the tight end a lot. So Greg Olsen's worth a target. Will Dissly's still there, though. So I don't know how valuable he's going to be moving forward. But we've seen Greg Olsen be good in the past. All right. Right before we get into Q&A, we'll wrap it up with some trade targets. Guys, we all have a guy that you're going to buy low on and sell high. I'll start us off here with buy lows. I am buying low on Keenan Allen. I talked about Keenan Allen in the preseason while he was getting disrespected. He had a slow week 1. If you have any owners in your league that are panicking about Keenan Allen, he's still going to get volume. I would offer some trades for him and try and get him on your team because I think he's going to be solid moving forward.
Yeah, you know what you were expecting when you drafted him. He wasn't going to be the same guy without Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Yeah, so I think he's still going to be a solid wide receiver too for the rest of the season. If someone thinks they're like panicking, like they don't want to start him, definitely trade for him. Q, who is your buy low target right now?
My buy low, as I mentioned before, is Le'Veon Bell, not mainly, but when he comes back, you're expecting him or hoping that he's going to be traded to a contender or at least a team that's not the Jets. I feel like any team that isn't the Jets is better for him and what he's capable of doing. I have promised that he will be finishing top 20. Top 21. We'll give him
21.
We'll give him one extra space, but I think if you're trying to get Le'Veon, if the owner isn't too stingy, which in our league he is, you can definitely try and get something for him. But the one who owns him right now knows what I'm talking about. So he might be waiting also for him to be traded to that better team.
Referencing Joey Schultz, I think he's been trying to dump him off all day. So
he's been trying to dump him off like Phil.
But he's not dumping him off for David Montgomery.
Now. Oh, that's pretty low.
No, that's not.
That's very low.
Matt, who is your buy low target?
My buy low is somebody that now has Phillip Rivers as their quarterback, and that is T.Y. Hilton. He only finished with, I believe, 9 fantasy points last week. So
4 for 54.
Yeah, people might start panicking on him, but I think as him and Phil gain more of a rapport, he's definitely going to be a lot more productive. I mean, he was great previous years. The past 4 years, he's been reliable. I think he definitely picks up with Phil, and he's going to be the guy that you drafted him to be.
Yeah, if it was Tyrod that was his quarterback and they switched, and Tyrod was throwing to Ty, I think then that's when you start to panic. But just because it's Phil. Oh my God. Yeah. You're feeling good. I just confused myself for a second.
I don't know what you were talking about, but yeah,
He was talking
hear you.
about
Phillip Rivers, definitely get a fee Ty. All right, T-Gods, who is your buy low?
I want to buy some Leonard Fournette. Super
Yes.
low. I do. He played 9 snaps.
I'll sell you
Exactly.
some.
He's
Fournette
gonna-
stock.
That's what makes me nervous.
Bro,
but
it's
yeah.
his first game with the team. He's gonna get more involved. He's good. He's a good running back. He's going to get involved. I'm telling you.
I know where you can get some cheap Fournette stock.
Where? I need to buy
I'll
it.
tell you after the podcast.
All right.
Anyways, yes, I think Fournette and the owners are definitely panicking, so you can definitely get him for the cheap, but I'm still nervous about him moving forward. Sell high, guys. I am selling high on Sammy Watkins if I own him. 21 points. I did mention him. You have to pick him up in leagues. But if you're picking him up, I'm looking to trade him. 21 points, the Chiefs offense. We saw him blow up week 1 and then ended up having a decent game week 2 and then pretty much disappeared from that offense as Hardman got more involved in everything. So Sammy Watkins makes me nervous moving forward to be consistently relied on. And if you have someone that owns Mahomes or is like obsessed with the Chiefs offense, whatever, send him Sammy Watkins their way because he's definitely worth. Yeah, I don't think he's going to keep up this performance moving forward.
Too bad our Sammy Watkins owner is under review every time he makes the trade. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy Watkins is in our league is dropped soon for like Steven Sims Jr. just because the owner of Sammy Watkins right now.
All right, let's stop talking about him.
But my sell high guy is Calvin Ridley. I wasn't as high as on Ridley as maybe Matt was.
Keep him.
But yeah, I definitely would keep him. I don't think he has a performance as good as he did week 1. But I'm sure you can get a good package if you were to include him with a couple other guys for someone better than Ridley. But if you want to keep Ridley, fine by me. He's going to finish I feel like it's going to be similar to Julio's stats. And he did finish better than him week 1 with 34 points compared to Julio's 24, I think, in PPR.
Yeah. I think if you can sell Calvin Ridley for a top 10 wide receiver that was like for the season,
maybe like DJ Moore.
Do it. Yeah, like DJ Moore kind of guys. Calvin Ridley still has upside moving forward, but yeah, I'd probably hold on to him anyways. Just
Matt, would you trade Calvin Ridley? Not straight up, maybe, but Ridley for Thielen.
Like if
Ridley and Thielen in a trade, would you take?
Who would you rather have?
All right, I'm taking Thielen.
If you're able to sell Ridley for Thielen, do it.
Yeah,
anyways,
easily. But Schultz, I'm not that dumb.
All right, Matt, go ahead. Who is your sell high?
Right, my sell high is Robbie Anderson. He went off for, I think, he had over 20 fantasy points last week, but DJ Moore finished with like 9, a measly 9. And that turns around as the season progresses, and that offense funnels through Christian McCaffrey. So that's going to limit everybody's touches on that team. But I think weeks to come, DJ Moore proves that he's that number 1 guy like he did last year. I don't think Robbie Anderson lives up to the hype that Sean loves him at. So
I think he's still a boomer bust flex. So
yeah, for sure.
If you're able to sell him for,
but
something valuable,
I'm taking whatever you can get for Robbie Anderson if it's worth it.
I wish I was a Temple student when Robbie Anderson was on the team because I couldn't tell you one wide receiver on the team right now. I would love him as much as Sean does.
Jaden Blue. That's my guy right
Jaden Blue. Wait till he's in the league.
Jaden Blue.
Sean's going to take him first round.
2023.
All right, you guys. Who is your sell high?
All right, I'm not necessarily looking to sell him, but
I'm not.
If you can take advantage of someone that's like, oh my God, Chris Carson went off, he had 2 touchdowns, 24 points, I would do it because it's kind of like 6 rushes. What is that? What is that? That concerns me a little bit. Carlos Hyde got 7 rushes.
You get a touchdown. Hyde.
I mean, you can't worry about it too much. The Seahawks are going to go back to their run first.
That's what I'm not like looking to sell him, but if you, with like some injuries that happened, if someone's like panicking, I think you can get something good for Chris Carson.
I mean, who are you taking for Chris Carson that you think?
Would you trade Hilaire for Carson?
No.
Okay.
No.
If you could get Hilaire for Carson,
I thought maybe
obviously you
yes,
do it.
yeah, you
But
do
that
that.
owner
You
would
do
have to
that.
be brain dead.
Yeah.
Not everybody's as smart as our league is.
I
I'm just
would
saying.
maybe trade Chris Carson for someone like Joe Mixon. I love Mixon though. I know you guys.
I
hate him.
think I would take Carson over Mixon.
As a Carson owner, I haven't even looked at the few carries that he's had just because the Russ talked to the offense or the coach earlier maybe today and said I saw that he wanted to just let him make the offense explode at the beginning of the game instead of waiting, just let it expand. So I like Chris Carson's receiving ability is obviously what excelled him week 1. I think that's going to continue as we've seen before. But yeah, I'm not concerned about the few carries or Carlos Hyde getting a touchdown. Also, I think Chris Carson will be getting his
For sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm keeping Chris Carson if I
Oh yeah, I'm
like-
loving him right now over here.
unless you get an exceptional offer.
I
Yeah,
better
like
be
Clyde
getting
Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
I'll take
Alright.
Miles Sanders. I'm just kidding.
Well, we could talk here. We could talk.
I don't have your number.
Whoa. All right. Anyways, on to the question and answer here before we get to Q Stoke of the week. At Fimbozosh on Twitter, my boy Frankie asked Goddard or Malcolm Brown with the number 1 waiver spot. So who are you guys taking with that number 1 waiver spot out of those two?
Depends on what
Malcolm
you need,
Brown.
honestly. It depends.
I'm taking Malcolm Brown.
Yeah,
regardless.
I'm taking Malcolm Brown.
I think Goddard has
Running
more
backs.
promise to finish
Running
the
backs
season
have
relevant.
way more value.
Yeah, but
In terms of
who
trade
knows how
value,
relevant Malcolm Brown will be week 12 compared to Goddard, who's in almost every play.
Goddard could be a
Yeah.
top 10 tight end. If you're desperate for tight end, obviously take Goddard 100%.
I agree with you guys. It depends what you need.
And it depends what you need, but Malcolm Brown also
What you
very
need.
tempting option.
What you need.
On to the next one here. At haha2k on Twitter asked, should he trade DK Metcalf and Todd Gurley for Derrick Henry? Just to give a little bit of background here, he already has Saquon and Mixon, and his wide receivers are OBJ and Edelman, and he has Kelsey as his tight end. Would you guys do this trade, DK Gurley for Derrick Henry?
Oh yeah,
I'm doing
your
it.
running backs will be
yeah.
Saquon and Derrick Henry.
For like
Yeah.
And
top
Mixon
5
and
picks, top 6
And you
pick.
still have Edelman and Kelsey and whoever else.
Right, you have
OBJ.
So I think his wide
OBJ, yeah.
receivers are hurting a little bit, so I think I wouldn't
Kelsey makes up for it.
just for a little
Oh,
bit of
yeah.
trade logic here. I don't like being the one giving up the 1 and 2 for ones. So if you're getting a 1 and 2 for ones, I would try and just get him to throw somebody in on his bench, like a wide receiver, like if he has like Anthony Miller or somebody, just to add to your depth instead of having to pick up a free agent. But if I'm the 1 and 2 for ones, you're usually giving up the best player. I don't ever want to be that one. I want to be the guy giving up 2 to get that 1.
This might not be.
So
it
I
might
would
not
do
be
this
a-
trade.
Yeah, it might not be a rare
100%.
occasion, but he's definitely. I think he's winning. Who knows what the other guy's team is? But having Saquon, Derrick Henry, and Kelsey
And Mixon.
and Mixon.
Yep. So I think that just
Mixon.
stacks your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mixon as a flex is good. You can't deny that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's elite.
That's elite flex. All right,
I
on
hope-
to the last question here. At mbeck815, also known as Gator,
A regular.
a regular for our question department, asked if Chris Godwin is out, should I start Darius Slayton, Henry Ruggs, or Sammy Watkins?
I'm starting Slayton.
Slayton.
I think
Ruggs.
he's the safest.
Yeah,
Q, I want to hear your dirty mouth say it.
I told him Watkins earlier just because of the offense that Watkins is in, but Slayton,
Slayton?
my words, Slayton. I maybe I just don't want to admit. I'm not saying I'm wrong that Shepard is not better than Slayton, but
Like you told me, you're wrong.
I think either way you're feeling good. Maybe with the upside you're liking Slayton more, but
I'm starting Slayton this week after that big week 1.
okay. Then how about Watkins? He had a big week 1.
I know, but I like Slayton's upside more, especially on a better offense. Well, not a better offense, but
Better
a better
offense.
situation where he's not going to be like the 4th option.
Danny Dimes better than Patrick Mahomes.
He looked like the number
Heard
1
it here
option
first.
on New York compared to Sammy
He
Watkins.
did, yeah.
Will probably be the number 3 or 4 option
3,
moving
yeah,
forward.
Definitely number 4.
So
Yes.
I
T
got some
Dots?
questions. I got some questions in the
Question?
chat.
I got
all
a
right,
question.
all right, hit us up. What do we got?
All right, we got one from Schultz, and he said, "Who's the better handcuff, Frank Gore or Keelan Balaj?"
Oh yeah, they did sign Kalen Balaj for the Jets too. I think Frank Gore's interesting just because he's going
He's
to get the start this week.
unreliable.
He's gonna be involved, but he's obviously not gonna be able to handle the workload. So Kalen Ballage is probably more interesting. I think he would have more upside, but I hate this backfield in general. So
Yeah.
Josh Adams also got sent back down to the practice squad.
Josh Adams got sent down to the practice squad. I didn't see that.
That's unfortunate.
So Josh Adams, practice squad, pretty crazy after he got 2 carries last week. But Kalen Ballage will probably be the guy to own then. But I'm still very hesitant to pick up any Jets.
Yes, very much so.
And I got one more from Turkey. Should I trade Miles Sanders and Mike Evans for Michael Thomas and Todd Gurley?
Do it right now.
Miles Sanders and Mike Evans for Michael Thomas and Todd
Definitely.
Gurley.
Wait,
do it.
Who knows?
I say do it.
He's gonna be hurting for like 3 weeks.
I would say
Michael
no.
Thomas is out. Yeah.
I would say sit tight. I would say Miles Sanders is still going to have top 15, top 10 RB upside.
Right.
Mike Evans still has top 10 wide receiver upside, even top 5 if him and Tom Brady get on the same page. So Michael Thomas, as elite as he is, 4 to 6 weeks can be a long time.
That's
Don't
a
forget-
very you need those wins.
Who knows
Right.
if Mike Evans re-aggravates?
It really depends on your roster. If you have wide receivers you feel that you can start,
Don't forget Vince.
in the
9000's
meantime,
question.
I would do it.
Vince 9000 has one more question. It's do I start Julian Edelman or Kareem Hunt at flex?
Ooh, that's a good one.
We got
That's a good
Edelman prime time against the Seahawks in Seattle, or Kareem Hunt tomorrow night.
Prime time tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Thursday night
I
games
gotta
scare
go
me.
Edelman.
So I think Edelman's safer. I do think Kareem Hunt has a little bit of upside there, though.
Edelman's gonna have more.
I'd probably go
volume in
Edelman
that
just to be
game.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going Edelman.
Even though
There
I
you
like
go,
Kareem a lot this week.
Vincent. Little
All right.
Sam.
Let's wrap it up, Q. Hit us with joke of the week. We went a little long today, so.
Don't make me laugh too hard. I might pee.
All right. I'm trying to think.
Yo, he doesn't even have
No.
it. He's
I have it.
folding.
I have it. I'm just saying. I'm trying to think. Do I want the second pod to be better for the week 2 matchup rather than this one? But fine. I'll give you the heat now. How does NASA organize their company parties?
I've heard this one before. I forget it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't heard it.
mute yourself. They plan it.
Oh no.
I get the
I didn't
same
like-
reaction
I didn't
from
like-
T-Gods every week.
All right, guys. I'm sorry.
wait,
I hope the next pod is better than this one, joke wise.
Yeah, we will be live tomorrow night before Thursday night football, so tune in. We will have a podcast up and ready for the week 2 preview. We'll be previewing Thursday night football, so you can watch it for just that in general, but also we'll be previewing every single game for week 2. So tune in, follow us on social medias at Super FB Podcast on Instagram, on Twitter. Follow us along there and pretty much, follow us, support us. Follow us on Twitch now if you're here as well.
Hold on.
please.
There's like
What do
a
we-
look at Turk. Yes, Turkey accept that trade, and Gator, you're done asking questions.
What is T-God?
Cut
I want to hear
off.
what T-Gods has to say.
We'll answer it
no,
on
that
tomorrow's podcast. Keep the
All right,
questions.
all right.
Oh,
We'll answer it
yeah.
tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Are we out?
We're out.
Bye.
All right.
Peace out.